So tell us about the first 2 weeks. What was something that was a rose, and what was something that was a thorn, and how you've been adapting to all of these realities in the last 2 weeks. Ralph?
Definitely, I want to give kudos to students and parents for their patience, students for their patience, and also students being diligent about following different guidelines and procedures that they need to do to stay safe, especially the students going to school, doing face-to-face learning. Um, I think definitely a rose is how students that were in face-to-face learning were just on task, following the social distancing guidelines, wearing their mask, and really engaged. We started our first 2 weeks off with students that were face to face and online. But the online students, what we did, we actually spent time just re-engaging students. We didn't get into the curriculum. We took the first 2 weeks just really engaging them, having activities, and asking them to stir up different conversations. And how are they feeling about being in a pandemic, and how are they feeling about coming back to school, and really listening to their voice. So that's something we did for the first 2 weeks, and we had a lot of half a days in there because we didn't want to come back to school and then just go straight to 8 to 3. And students had been at home for a minute, kind of on some downtime. And so that was definitely a rose, and students really appreciated that, and parents really appreciated that. Um, I would say definitely something that was probably more of a challenge, just being able to really reconnect with everybody, with people being online, and then having a certain amount of students doing face to face and reconnecting with parents. I think we definitely have to be innovative on how we're reconnecting with parents and staying face to face with parents and communicating with them and over communicating with them. I think that that's very vital and very important, because even though we're using a lot of technology now, that technology that it doesn't always work like we want it to. And so I think it's important that students are and families are taking breaks throughout the day and making sure students are just not in front of a screen all day. And I think Dr. Wade mentioned some very important points about giving them some additional activities.
We're just excited to see the families back engaged and back in school and on track in this new quasi planned way. I refuse to say new normal. I don't accept that personally. But we offered a lot of variety of educational opportunities for our families. We have 51,000 students, and with that comes a litany of challenges. And some of the challenges have been based upon just the options of online learning, choosing face-to-face learning, and then providing families with the option of the learning centers. And so, at the school level, we've been working to support our principals and ensuring they have enough materials. We had the amazing Connected Futures initiative over the summer, where the business community, led in part by Reverend Anthony, DTE Foundation and Skillman and Quicken, came together to make sure that our students had access to tablets and also had access to free internet access. So we've had some challenges just with families picking up the laptops and tablets, and then once picked up, just because the digital divide is so wide in Detroit, just basic things like turning on the tablet, using the interface with the apps. That's a learning curve in of itself, just to get online established. And so what we're doing is trying to evaluate the resources that we have in terms of our help desk services. Our help desk has been over and inundated with calls, so we're expanding resources on our help desk, and we're expanding resources on the types of help, whether it's IT help at the school level with scheduling, support for families, mental health awareness, emotional support, and then just resources that we know that our families need. And so we are going to be rolling out more training. In fact, we're going to have training every day for our parents on technology and online support. We are also working to contact families face-to-face and via phone. A lot of us take for granted the fact that we can just throw a link up and go to this link. Well, if a family is having problems working their computer, they're never going to access that link because they are having problems navigating their technology. So just dialing it back to the basics, meeting parents where they are. We're going to launch focus groups because we know that we've heard families say that the computer time is too long and it's interfering with other things and activities. So we're going to do a listening session to assess what that will look like, and just asking everybody to continue to provide the feedback that they have. Although it's not always positive, we still need it so that we can understand where adjustments need to be made.
Chrystal and Ralph, thank you. And so I need not say it's been a really full 2 weeks and a lot of learning and listening occurring. But also, we're functioning within a pandemic. What are the positive test protocols that you've established? And what will happen in the event that there is exposure at the school? And then the second part of that question is, what are your mask and cleaning protocols? Chrystal, I want to start with you, and then we'll go to Ralph.
Okay, so in terms of protocols, Detroit Public Schools Community District, we have a reopening plan that outlines our protocols. At the very basic level, masks are required in the school and upon entering. Upon entering any school building or district office, temperature is required to be taken, and also a health questionnaire is required to be passed. There's sanitizing stations available, and we are encouraging the washing of the hands for the duration according to the CDC guidelines. At this point, the district has not had any outbreaks. However, we have had positive cases connected to the school district, and we're managing those in partnership with the health department. There are specific guidelines that define and announce an outbreak situation. So we've been notifying our families, our school staff, and our students. And so far, that implementation of our best practices for COVID safety is working. We are not hearing any examples of non-compliance with over 100 buildings in the district. And at this point, I would really like to applaud our staff, our families, our students for adhering to the guidelines, because we know when they are faithfully followed, we can continue to have that safe environment, outbreak free, and continue to provide the education that they chose and that they deserve.
Definitely, we're following the roadmap that was put in place by the governor, and that we started off with our teachers with an app, and this app is sent to the teachers daily in the morning, and they actually have to answer a series of questions related to COVID. And that app would actually give them a clear to go or put up an alert and tell them to stop and call their immediate supervisor and the HR department. So that app really has been working wonders for our staff and organization, because it's actually given us another layer of safety. And the teachers have really can appreciate the app. As far as our students actually are wearing masks and following the guidelines. And we have decals throughout all the schools reminding them of social distancing and the steps they should take and staying 6 feet apart. So they're doing a great job doing that. And I just want to again give kudos to our students because they're just so bright. And I know a lot of conversation in the beginning, are students going to keep their mask on? Are they going to take them off? Are they going to play with them? And they've just been doing an outstanding job. In addition to that, we've also implementing a certain cleaning routine where we're wiping down doorknobs every 30 minutes to an hour, also using foggers throughout the building in the morning and in the evening. Some of our teachers have asked for some spray bottles to continue some of the disinfecting throughout the day for the face-to-face learners and continuing to follow the CDC guidelines. Uh, so we've actually implemented a couple of different layers. I won't go through that now because that'll take up some time, but we're also doing temperature checks of students and asking parents to do temperature checks of their students even before they send them to alert us and them knowing about the symptoms also.
What percentage of your families right now have those laptop or tablets? And what advice do you give to parents about the best way for them to manage the different technology? Go ahead, please, Ralph.
So I would say over 50% of our population, they have technology. And then we're doing a lot of parent workshops and doing a lot of one-on-one with parents, helping them go through the technology and learn the different steps. As Chrystal mentioned, that it's important that we continue to communicate and work with the parents about the technology and just can't assume that they would know what to do. So we're doing a lot of outreach, and we even do some of the outreach on the weekends to make sure parents are understanding. And even if we have to call them in again for a lot of one-on-ones to take our time with them versus doing it in a larger group, we're also doing that.
So we're at probably more than 75% of the deployment, and I would just, there's a couple of things that I would say, and this is me speaking as a parent and not as a district administrator. I would say, as a parent, please continue to reach out to the district via phone, email, reach out to your teacher. I know it's frustrating. I've been fielding calls, but there are a lot of different moving parts. We are in a pandemic, and the same people that you're seeking help from, they're also going through their own individual trials and errors during this time. This is new. It is brand new. We are doing this for the first time. We did it in the spring, and it was just really quick turnkey emergency. But this is a plan that a lot of people have poured into, and we need to let it work. And we're going to constantly evaluate it, but everybody plays a part, and just allow a little bit more time. I know it was the first week, second week, need a little bit more time to work out the wrinkles, and we're all in this together. Chrystal, the administrator for the district, I would say that thank you to our families who have come back and who are supportive, who are allowing time, who are sending the emails to the superintendent and the board. Thank you for that, because that's how we're going to get better. And that's how we're going to figure all of this out.
What do you think your overall attendance is in comparison to last year?
Right now, I think our attendance overall is between 80 and 90%.
We remain about 10 points lower in students attending than we were last year. But we are working hard to really reach our students from grades 7 to 12. Our students in pre-K 5, we're seeing them show up. So it's our preteens and our teenagers that we would ask the community, if you see them on the street, walk into the store during the daytime, if you see them not being engaged in a school setting, encourage the young people to get their education and come to school, log in, go to a learning center. There's options for everyone. We have masks if they don't have them. If they need more than that, we have resources for them. But please get in school every day. Every school day counts.
You can find more at onedetroitpbs.org or subscribe to our social media channels and sign up for our One Detroit newsletter.